Recorded.
I'm finally seeing the sunshine. I'm looking out my window. There is no presence of snow. Man, I'm just looking at over across a great big lawn, all the way to I would say all the way to the other side of the football field where I can see the homes and I can see the trees. I can see the sunrise, and it's just amazing. So I feel amazing.
Sounds like you're out
Uh,
in nature then. That's wonderful.
ma'am, say that one more
Sounds like
time.
you sounds like you're out in nature.
Yeah, I'm actually sitting right from the bedroom bed in my pajamas. Just
You're
looking.
looking at nature. You're not in it.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Got you. I'll
So
let you
yes,
enjoy, sir.
yeah. So I'm feeling wonderful, and it brings me joy and pleasure to give it right back to you, Kathy. Just wonderful, beautiful spirit. Just warms my heart. Let me say, I appreciate everybody, and as I say this, the sun is just shining brighter. Appreciate and love every single body, every single person in the corner. So if you're on this call, I love you. Um, Prayerfully, what I've shared and what everyone has shared this week has really poured into your spirit because I tell you, we have some powerful self development tools and messaging. So if you haven't been listening or you have missed a couple calls, go in your app. If you are a distributor, go in your app, download that app, go in your app and listen to the recordings. I tell you, they are so amazing. I find myself doing a recapture, and it's myself large part of it because I'm learning so much is self development for me. If I'm driving, I'm doing my Ubering. Yeah, I do Uber. And it really pours into me because I'll have those recordings playing even while my passengers are in the car. So it's just amazing. So I want to start out by giving a shout out to our CEO who highlighted this week being in the right mindset was my takeaway. Uh, you can't pour from an empty cup was my biggest takeaway. Like rest, I got learning how to rest, to renew yourself so that you can move in abundance. That was my biggest takeaway from our CEO. Then I love when Pastor Dan, when he comes in on Tuesday and he pours in and he says, "All right, let's get back um, to the creation of our being." You know, hey, he says it's all about him and the purpose in which he created us. And those are my biggest takeaways. And what a biggest takeaway, another takeaway that is what are the inputs? What are we telling ourselves? Versus what are we allowing people to tell us? And that was like, man, wait a minute. What am I telling myself versus what I allow people to tell me? That's another message, but I think his was so powerful. It really does play into that factor of do we have the ability in our mind to stay in momentum? And I hope you guys got a pen and a paper because I'm rambling, but I'm not. What inputs we receive can determine whether we stay in momentum or not. Because if we receive a negative input, boom, it may have the ability, if we don't have positive input and what we're telling ourselves or what other people are telling us, the environments that we're in, it could really knock us off track. And then, man, the Kathy and Kai show, they feel the deal by saying, let's stay consistent. And with some of those means and areas in which can help us stay in that area of consistency. And that was just so powerful because I look at what can possibly happen, and I'm looking at this big field, and let's just dream a little bit and say that this field is mine. And how consistent would I be on working to make sure that I've accumulated? I'm gonna always go back to where we started. Accumulated a whole lot of seeds. I'm getting to the point where now I have to work this land to make sure that I plant the seeds, be consistent at watering and nurturing the seeds so that I can yield a harvest. And then, last message I talked about, the recycling of some of the things that we need to stay consistent in. and how we can wash and repeat, right? You start a process, stay consistent in that process so that we can yield a harvest. So Pastor Dan was like, it's all about him and knowing your purpose. And that can lead to, as long as you're watching your inputs and you're grounded, to consistency, being consistent and yielding an outcome. When I listen to all three of them, it brings me into it dives me where ending February, this is Black History Month. And I'm like, man, you know what? It gets right back to the solid foundation of, I came up with the question of who and what are we celebrating? Like for Black History Month, who and what are we celebrating? And it brought me to an interesting point that was very powerful, where I'm like, wow, we celebrate people who have done things or accomplished things in Black History Month that probably hasn't been accomplished before, or they have done things that we're just super proud of. I want to talk about, before I even give a title, this is going to be kind of weird because my title of this message is going to be at the end, but I want to point out something that when we look at who we're celebrating, I want to go a little deeper in that. Who and what are we celebrating? So I want to point out one individual, and I didn't go into deep study, but it impressed me who he is and in the time frame that he achieved what he achieved. And his name is Jeremiah Hamilton. And Jeremiah Hamilton was born in 1806. Y'all write that down. Jeremiah Hamilton in 1806. 19th century, right? And I'm like, and this is a lot of his accomplishments, and yes, his wealth was acquired in New York City. So let me tell you how they referred to Jeremiah Hamilton. And this guy, let me just throw out a nugget. This guy is someone who was one of his rivalries. I'm going to give a name, and this is one of the men that built America. You've heard me probably talk about this. Cornelius Vanderbilt was one of the people who probably could not stand Jeremiah Hamilton, right? And I'm not going to dig deeper in that. My mind can go some places, and I may kind of point the illusion of what this looks like while I'm sharing about Jeremiah Hamilton. So he was born in 1806, and he was referred to as the Black Wall Street. This guy was referred to as the first Black millionaire. He was also referred to as the Black Prince of Wall Street. He was one of the wealthiest African Americans of his era. And let me point out some things. Now, he was born in 1806. Let me point out some things. In 1827, you all, that was the year that slavery was finally abolished in New York, 1827. So he was born in 1806. Slavery was not abolished until 1827. So that's about 21 years, right? 21 years old, slavery was abolished. However, let me point out some things. So although free, there was still segregation, right? There were limited rights and opportunity for African Americans. And there was racial violence and arrest. So he was dealing with that at 21 years old. Let me point out another date, right? Let me point out 1863, right? So 1863, hold on one second, because I didn't do this math. Bear with me. Pull out my calculator for a minute. 1863 minus 1827, 36 years. That's 36 years. So 36 plus 21 equals 57. He would have been 57 years old by 1863. And by 1863, the New York City draft riots started. This is when white mobs targeted Black neighborhoods, homes, and businesses. Many African Americans were attacked and many were lynched, right? By 1863. Now, this guy, Jeremiah Hamilton, right, even though Black people faced legal, social, and economic barriers and limited opportunities, right, still Jeremiah started acquiring, you all check this out, he started acquiring substantial wealth in his 30s, in his 30s, right? And he continued to amass a fortune in his 40s and in his 50s. Man, when I thought about this mogul, this young man, starting as a young man, right? Because he started acquiring his wealth in his 30s. I'm thinking about all of the things that he possibly went through because he didn't have DEI, he didn't have affirmative action, he really didn't have a victim's mentality. He clearly had an opportunist mentality to be able to go against some of the richest moguls that built America, right? The men that built America. And some of these, he had to really play a good game of Monopoly. But this is what brings me to believing and asking, based off of everything that we had heard this week, what was his mindset? Let me say that one more again. What was his mindset? To be able to accomplish, and let me give you some harsh terms. What you doing around here, nigga? What are you trying to get a license for? You trying to do what? I don't think that's going to happen. Could you imagine some of the things that this mogul was told? Could you imagine his input? What is it that got Jeremiah to receive the title of Black Wall Street, the first Black millionaire, referred to as the first Black Prince of Wall Street? What was his mindset? I'm going to lead us with thinking, you all, my title of this message is Against All Odds. Against all odds. So I'm going to sum up and I'm going to complete this message because I just wanted to plant a seed of what is it that you desire? What were you built for? When we celebrate Black History Month and as we exit Black History Month, what do we have the ability to achieve? And let me sum it up with these words right here. What do you believe? What are your action steps based off of what you believe? Because that is a level of faith that can get you whatever it is. We tap into what Pastor Dan said. It's all about him. We have purpose, but what do you believe? What are you willing to take action for? Because that truly will define the faith that you have. With that being said, I love you all. As always, message starts with me. I'm feeling empowered. I'm feeling that it's possible. It's the end of the month. We have 2 days left. I heard the words from our CEO talking about Bermuda and CV is double. Man, what do you believe? Do you have faith? Do you believe that it's possible? And are you going to take action today because it's not too late? Jeremiah was able to do it, and so can you. At a young age, at an old age, it doesn't matter. It's never too late. Let's get it. Back to you, Kathy.
Oh my gosh, Jeremiah Hamilton. I learned about him when I first got my Series 7 license back in the late 80s, and I had forgotten. Thank you for reminding me and us about Jeremiah Hamilton, and thank you for planting the seed that if he did it with all his adversity, I can't even say anything else, Thank you so much, Willie. Appreciate that. Absolutely. So the only other thing that I have to mention is that remember that today is February 27th. Yes, 2 days, today and tomorrow, before the end of the month. But tomorrow is a very important day in this country for those of us who are aware of what's going on in our system. So Al Sharpton, one of our heroes, has called for a 24-hour blackout on Friday, which is tomorrow, from midnight to noon on Saturday. So this is an economic blackout. You know that we are a multi-trillion dollar, $3 trillion economy. We beat many small countries with the economic power that we have as African Americans, as Black people. So on tomorrow, so do all your shopping today. I did my grocery shopping last night, filled up my car, and gonna do a few more things today. But do not make any purchases tomorrow. Do not shop online, in store, no Amazon, no Walmart, no Best Buy, no McDonald's and other fast food stores, no gas, no major retailers. Don't use credit or debit cards for non essential spending. Try to buy everything you need before tomorrow. If necessary, just buy food, medicine, and things that you might need. And if you have to spend, choose small businesses, not big box stores. So this matters because corporations and banks only care about their bottom line. It is becoming quickly evident, if you have not seen it before, that the folks that are at the top want to just stay there and they want to push you down to keep going up, okay? And so disrupting the economy for even one day sends a powerful message. If they don't listen, we make the next blackout longer. Our numbers are powerful, and this is how we make history. It happened with the bus boycott. It has happened when unions stop working. Economics is how this country listens, okay? If they don't listen, we'll make it longer. So you want to share this information if you haven't seen it already. Listen, I don't know any Black people that haven't seen this, and I've gotten the message texted to me probably every day for the last 2 weeks, okay? But tomorrow is the day. We have the power, and you don't have to shop on Friday. I know that's a payday for a lot of people, but I'm telling you, if you get it done beforehand, we will see a big difference. I mean, we've already got Target rolling back their idea of cutting out DEI because we stopped going to Target. And so, um, economic power is ours. Economic elevation, like Willie just talked about, is yours. So use today and tomorrow to shop with yourself. Use today and tomorrow to encourage your family and friends to do their necessary shopping with you and before tomorrow. So, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday and go, move, do it. You can do it. We'll all have fun in Bermuda. We will surpass our CV. And remember, double CV, double CV. So have a great rest of the day. We'll see you tomorrow.